Hi guys, Howard here with a cross-picking lesson. Now I've done some cross-picking stuff in the past, but it was maybe a little bit more advanced, quicker, more complicated, crazy fusion chords, stuff like that. But I got an email the other day from someone asking me if I could do some more cross-picking instructional stuff, but maybe just slow it down a little bit and with some basic chords, okay? So I'm just going to be using a D, a C9, and a G to start out with, and then we will evolve into A minor, C, G, and E minor, okay? So cross-picking is a really valuable technique, okay? And it can be combined with your fingers for a hybrid picking style, which I've done some lessons on in the past as well. But for this one, I'm going to focus strictly on cross-picking. And it's a really great technique because you can create sort of pianistic arpeggio type chord patterns. So, and you can play slow stuff or really quick stuff. You get the idea. It's just really incredible what you can do. But we're going to slow this down. And like I said, just use some really basic chords. So let me play this first exercise for you, and then I'll walk you guys through it bit by bit. So let's get into what's happening here, and I will refer to the strings as the first, being the one closest to your feet, followed by the second, third, fourth, fifth, and sixth, okay? So what we have is a basic D chord, a simple D chord, and I'm starting with the fourth string, the D string, and we play 3 downstrokes right through the fourth, the third, and the second strings. Okay, then we're going to swing to the first string with an upstroke. So we have down, 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 up. Then we're swinging back to the third string, the G string, with a downstroke. And then coming back to the second string with an upstroke. So we've got that little string skip in there. And then what I finished it off with was a downstroke on the fourth string again, and an upstroke on the G string. And that's your basic cross-picking pattern. But you will apply it to different chord shapes. Some chords have 4 strings in them, 5 strings, and 6 strings, right? So we have... And remember not to use your arm. Keep it all in your wrist. Just keep your forearm pretty much anchored. And just let your wrist do the work, okay? So then we move to a C add 9 chord, and we want to spread that same cross-picking pattern out across 5 strings. So we start with the A string this time, the 5th string, play 3 strings down, and then swing again all the way to the bottom and play what we played last time. First, third, second, fourth, third. Very nice, and you can hear the sound start to expand a little bit just by having that 5th string in there. Now we want to play a G chord, so we simply pull these fingers up 2 strings. So we want to spread the technique out across all 6 strings. So you're going to have some wider string skipping now. We start with the 6th string, 3 down, and again swing all the way to the bottom. So now we're bringing all 6 strings into the fold. Now staying with the G string, I'm going to, you don't have to move your fingers at all if you don't want to. I'm going to swing back to the A string just to get a different sound because we're sitting on the G chord a little bit longer. So I'm playing from the A string, the 5th string, down 3, and this time swinging down to the 2nd string for that upstroke. And then 4th string, 3rd string, fifth string, fourth string. One more time on that one. So if we put the whole G chord together, we will have and then go back to the D and repeat that all again. Sweet and nice sounding. And now we're going to move to an A minor chord, and we'll do some variations on that, but we're going to move to an A minor chord now, and we're going to play the pattern. So I started with the fifth string, play 3 down as always, swing all the way down to the first string up, back to the third string, and then second string up. And then we're going to insert a few eighth notes in there to connect it to the C chord, and then the C to the G, and the G to the E minor. So that's all we play. Down, 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 up, and then with downstrokes, open A string, second fret, and that leads us into the C chord. So we've got those 2 eighth notes at the tail end of the chord. One more time, nice and slow. And that leads us right into the C chord, and for the C chord we want to use the exact same strings and picking pattern that we used on the A minor. And then our 2 walking notes will be right from the 3rd fret on the A string back to the 2nd fret on the A string. So now with the A minor and the C we have and then we move to a G chord, and I'm playing the old school G right here. If you want to do that, you can do that as well, but it's pretty easy to move from that to that, okay? So we're going to wind up on the G chord now. So we're bringing in all 6 strings. So we want to start with the 6th string again, down 3. But you can see we're playing the exact same amount of notes that we played on the A minor and the C. Down, 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 up, down, up. And now the 2 walking notes will be on the 6th string, 3rd fret to the 2nd fret. And that will walk us into the E minor chord. And you can play the E minor any way you want, although as you can see using the 2 middle fingers works out really well. And now we are on all 6 strings just like the previous chord. So we start with the 6th string, 3 down, and this time we play a full pattern just like we did in the first half of this exercise. 1st, 3rd, 2nd, 4th, 3rd. So for those 4 chords then we have Okay, so now let's talk about using that basic cross-picking technique to add a little variety, to break it up a little bit. For instance, on the D chord, you could also play something like this. Still using the basic cross-picking technique. So what I'm doing is I'm playing a D sus by adding my pinky to the 3rd fret on the 1st string. But we start out the same way. We start out on the 4th string with 3 downstrokes. For the upstroke, the 1st string, as before, back to the 3rd string with a downstroke. So we have. But now I'm going to let go of the pinky and return to a regular D shape, and once again play the 3rd string and then an upstroke on the E string. So it's a slightly different pattern, but still using the cross-picking concept. Then swing back to the G string, the 3rd string, and then an upstroke on the 2nd string. So that's your variation right there. Now we're going to do the same thing again, the exact same strings with the exact same picking pattern, but staying on the D chord, and then open it up. So just by playing that pattern twice in the right hand and doing these little finger variations, we get a little bit more color. And then moving to the C add 9 chord, we could play exactly what we played before in the previous example, and then simply take the pinky off and play the pattern again. So with both of those chords together now and the variations that we've added, we now have this. So you can see I just did the exact same thing on the G, right? I just took the pinky off and gave it a little extra texture. Now we can do the exact same thing, or a similar idea, if you will, on the 2nd section here. So we can keep the A minor chord exactly the same as we did before, complete with the 2 walking notes. Now when we get to the C, we'll start out the same way, 3 downstrokes, and I'm going to add my pinky once again to the 3rd fret on the 1st string. Swing down with an upstroke, come back to the 3rd string with a downstroke, take your pinky off, upstroke. And then the 2 walking notes. So we have and we make our way to the G chord, right? I played the G exactly the same as we played it the first time around, so that's going to remain the same. But this time when we get to the E minor, we're going to play this. So that's 4 down, 1, 2, 3, 4, right from the 6th string, swing all the way down to the 1st string, 4 upstrokes. So we have and then, of course, we'll go back and repeat it from the A chord again. But here's yet another variation you can add to the C chord. Instead of placing the pinky on the 1st string at the 3rd fret, we'll place it on the 2nd string at the 3rd fret. So you want to do the upstroke on the 2nd string, right? But still swing back to the 3rd. And then let that pinky off. So real slow on that one, we have. So that's a nice little variation that you can add in there. So there you go, just a brief tutorial on cross-picking, which I think is just a really cool technique to master. You can really do a lot of cool things with it. Get kind of a, like I said earlier, kind of a pianistic sound on guitar, and you can just play some great stuff once you get used to it. And there's other variations, of course, there's other variations that you can do, but that's a good place to start. But once you get it down, you can really play a variety of stuff. Thanks for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And as always, all the best to everyone.